Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel once again. Thank you very much for stopping by. Thank you for your subscriptions. For those who are new to this channel, you are highly welcome. Hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell as well. Like this video, share to family and friends to benefit as well, and drop your comments on the comment section. So today we are going to make an asymmetric neckline. Okay, all right, so for this asymmetric neckline we are going to make, when we mean asymmetric, we mean they are not the same. It can be off shoulder on one side, it can be with shoulder. In fact, it's shoulder on one side, not it can be. It's shoulder on one side and it's off on the other side. Okay, or it might be a tube on one side and it will also have a shoulder on the other side. So what does that mean? It means they are not the same. Asymmetric means they are not symmetric. Symmetric in the sense that they look alike, shoulder, shoulder, off shoulder, off shoulder. Whatever thing you are doing on the left hand side, you are doing on the right hand side. But for this tutorial, we are making asymmetric neckline. So for this asymmetric neckline we are going to do, the first thing I'm going to do right now is to fold my paper into two. So you can see I have my paper on fold right now. Can you see that? So that means one side is on fold and one other side is open-ended. So we need to do it this way so that at the end of our drafting we'll be able to open up. Okay, and when we open it up, then we have one shoulder. We draft the one with shoulder and the one without shoulder. So having done that right now, what I'm going to do is to start placing my vertical measurements, which you know, drawing my border line, attaching, writing down, indicating my shoulder line, bust point, under bust, and through waist or a half length. So let me quickly draw it out. All right people, before we start up this tutorial, I want to use this opportunity to let you know of our master's jacket class that is on right now. It's going to start just very soon. I'll be dropping the link to the group on the description box below. Okay, so please join us in our WhatsApp group to learn more on sewing innovations, to attend so many courses, okay, beginners, intermediate, advanced, okay, that will benefit you in the future. Okay, so let's go into this tutorial right away. All right people, so coming over to the asymmetric neckline, like I earlier explained, asymmetric means not symmetrical, not equal, not the same. Okay, so one side is off, one side has shoulder. So right now I'm drafting the part that is going to be off. Okay, in fact this part I'm going to draft it like a tube because it's going to have a sleeve that is going to be attached to the tube. Okay, so right now what I'm going to do is, you can see I have drafted my vertical lines. I have my measurements from the shoulder. All vertical measurements are taken right from the shoulder, as you can see. So from the shoulder right now I took my measurements of my chest line. Okay, so for my chest line, you know the usual way we get our chest line, that's armhole depth. Okay, your bust divided by 6, you add 1.5. you can see I have my bust point, I have my under bust and half length. So right now I made the distance of my bust radius, that is the distance from my bust point to my under bust. I took it all around as usual to form the part at which my bust will sit. That is to serve as a guide for this tube. All right, so now having done that, you can see what I did. I shared my shoulder into two because we are going to tighten our bust, our upper bust. So you need to share the shoulder seam line after taking off your 3 inches neckline, which is the standard neckline. Okay, before you start making anything, 3 inches by 3 inches. Then whatever thing that is remaining, that is your shoulder seam line. So I have a shoulder of 8 inches, so taking away the 3 inches neckline, then I have 5 inches left. Divided by 2, I connected right to the bust point. I believe you understand all of this. So right now it's time to start contouring the under bust line. So the under bust line, I'm going to share my under bust line. Now I'm going to take on this side of my bust span. You know, this is the bust span measurement. I believe you know how the bust span is gotten. That is your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. That is this line you are seeing here. All right, so having done that and believing that you understand what I did here, I'm going to fall right into the drafting of this asymmetric neckline right now. So tightening the under bust, I'm going to put 1 inch, 1 inch. I'm sharing them equally this time. Okay, so I've put 1 inch this side, 1 inch this side. Then I'll come over to the waistline and I'll be taking 0.75 this side, 0.75. What does that mean? It means I'm sharing 1.5 all together, 2 inches all together equally. So I'm going to place my ruler in this manner and I'm connecting my lines right away. So now I'm going to come over to the bust point because I need to tighten my bust and also shaping my cup too. So I'm going to, from the bust point, I'm going to come down by 1 inch and I'll also come up on the bust point by 1 inch on this same line. Okay, so right now I'm going to connect my lines right away. I'm going to connect the point of 1 inch to the 1 inch I shared, and I also connect this way. So I will quickly place my curve rule or pattern master this way. Make sure you don't put it so down. Okay, you just raise it up the way you can see how I'm raising it up, so that it will give you a very good cup at that part. So right now you can see I've curved and I've flipped my rule this way in the same manner I curved that because they are equal. Okay, so you can see what I have right here. Okay, so they need to be equal actually. So you need to flip it in this manner, making sure that they are equal. Okay, all right, so you can see what I have right now. So I'm done with my bust tightening, under bust tightening right now. So I want to quickly go over to my upper bust tightening. So now that I'm done with my under bust tightening, I need to tighten my upper bust. But before I tighten my upper bust, we need to create the sweetheart for the tube for this part of it. Okay, so right now to create this sweetheart, what I'm going to do is, remember I rotated, you can see the point of my bust radius, taking it all around to serve as a guide on how I want this sweetheart to be. So right now on this bust line, you can see this is my bust point line by the center front. So I'm going to come up from that point with 3/4 of an inch. Okay, you can see my 3/4 of an inch. Then you can see that this point is that bust radius I rotated, meaning that my bust will still sit into this point. So from that point of my bust radius, I'm going to come down now by 0.5. You can see my 0.5 here. So at this 0.5, I'm connecting this 0.5 with the 0.75 or 3/4 I came up with. And I want you to pay attention on how I'm going to place my ruler right now to achieve this beautiful sweetheart curve. Okay, so you can see I'm adjusting my ruler. What am I trying to do? To find a very good curve. Okay, so you need to adjust your ruler to get a good curve at that part. Okay, so right now I'm going to connect to the point. Can you see the curve I have? So beautiful. Now this is how I placed my ruler. Can you see that? My pattern master. So I'll also flip it this other way. I'm also going to flip it and make sure I place it to rhyme with the already line which I have to form the other part of the curve, the sweetheart curve. Okay, so you can see as I'm adjusting, All right, I think it's okay where I have it. So I'm going to also form this other part. So can you see how what I have right here? So remember that, like I said, I also have you can see my breast. This is where the bust is sitting, okay, at 3.5. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do right now, I need to blend. All right, so now that I have the desired sweetheart curve that I need right here, so I'm now going to tighten my bust. Okay, so to do that, from this point connecting to this line, I'm going to shear 1.5. I'm using 1.5 inches to tighten, and I'm also going to shear it 3/4 this part, 3/4 on this other part. So I'll be placing my ruler to the 1 inch. Remember, I came up with 1 inch. I came up with 1 inch and I came down with 1 inch. So I'm going to use the straight part of my ruler to connect right now. So you can see I'm connecting this 1 inch I came up to the 0.5. I'll also flip my rule this way. So coming over to this way, I'm going to extend a little by 1/4 inch. You know why? Because this part is usually shorter. After closing up this dart, you notice that it's shorter on that part. So I'm going to shade off this line because this is not part of what we are doing today. I'm going to cut off this dart, okay? So I'll also cut off this dart as well. All right, so I'm cutting it off. I'm cutting this off. I'm cutting this off as well. So right now I'm going to reblend, okay? Make sure you have 1/4 inch at that point, okay? All right, so now I'm going to place my rule in the same manner. You can see how I placed it before. So all I need to do is to push this upper part to the 1/4 inch. Can you see? So this is my new neckline. Can you see? Blending into this point. So next thing I'm going to do right now, I'm going to start taking my measurements accordingly. So I have a bust measurement here. That is a bust circumference of 36, and I'll be placing my tape on the chest line. 36 divided by 4, I have 9 inches. This is what I have here as 9 inches. So I'm coming to the under bust circumference divided by 4. This is my under bust. I have 7/3. So I'll be placing the 7/3 on this part, and I'm going to add 2 inches. Remember, my dart intake here is 2 inches, which I shared 1 inch, 1 inch. Then coming over to the waistline, I also have the waistline as 31, which is 7/3 as well when divided by 4. Then I'm going to add 1.5, which is the dart I took. So you can see the line I have right now. So coming over to the chest line once again, remember we took 1.5 and we are going to replace the 1.5 right here, because by the time we close up this part, it will definitely shorten at that point. So I'll quickly connect my new lines right away. Can you see them? So I'm connecting my new lines right away. So this is what I have right now. So I'm going to blend this. I'm blending this into this part, okay? Because that is exactly how this tube is running, okay? You can see that what we have here, we did our curve inside the bust area. So this is what we have, or it's going off the chest line so much, okay? So we can just start this blend. Instead of starting all the way, we can just come up a little bit so that we don't expose much. I believe you understand what I'm talking about right here. Let me place my ruler this way, okay, to see if we can get it perfectly. Okay, I think this is better right now. We don't need to go so down, okay, so you don't expose so much. So this is what I have finally. You can see, so meaning that this part is not part of it. So I'm going to erase it off. Okay, then I'll also blend. All right, so you can see on it, so you can see how beautiful we have, and we are done with whatever we have, but we are not going to cut. Remember, it's an asymmetric. So I'm going to open up my paper right now for the part that has the shoulder. So we are going to work on the part that has our shoulder. So what am I going to do? I will simply extend the lines I have. Okay, these are my lines. That is the upper, the bust point, under bust point line, the chest line. Okay, the chest lines and the shoulder as well. So I'm going to just extend my line. So at this folded part, I'm going to draw a line to indicate. Please let it not confuse you. This is to show you that this is the center front line. Please don't be confused. So we are going to do exactly all the things I did on this part right now. That is taking my shoulder measurement, divide by 2, which I have as 8 inches. On the chest line, I'll also repeat my 8 inches as well. I believe you are seeing what I'm doing right here. Okay, so we are working on the part that has the shoulder. So I'm going to extend my line, but before that, I want to drop my, let me take the measurement of my neckline. Okay, this is the natural neckline, which we always connect 3 to 3 inches. Okay, so I'm just going to make it for, because this part is going to be a shoulder. So right now I'll come down because I need to connect to this point. Okay, so that's what you are going to do, and we want to divide this into 2. We are dividing by 2, so 7.5. Then I'll have the midpoint at this point. So since this is the front part, you know how we usually do it. 0.75 you go in, and this time you connect it back. Okay, all right, now I'm going to take the measurement of my bust circumference, divide by 4. This is what I have. Then I'll connect with my curve rule for the front armhole. Okay, so right now you can see it's taking shape already. Then my bust span measurement, I have to place it from the center front. This is my bust span measurement. Then I'm connecting it right away with a straight line from that point. Okay, just to the bust point. Okay, then I'm going to also do the same sharing of my shoulder I did that other way. I'm sharing my shoulder, finding the midpoint. Then I'll connect all the way because of our bust tightening. All right, so you can see what we have here. Please ignore this. Okay, it's serving as a guide for this tutorial. So right now I want to just jump into the under bust first. That is the first thing I want to do to tighten it. We are doing the same thing we did over here. That is 1.1 inch, 1 inch, then 0.75 or 0.75. Okay, the same thing we just did. I'll quickly do that. All right, 1 inch down, we come up by 1 inch. Then we place our rule just lightly in the same manner. Okay, then we flip and you connect. Okay, then I'm going to also form my bust radius. I'll quickly form my bust radius to also serve as a guide. Remember, it's an asymmetric. Okay, it must not really be the same way this is going to be. This has a shoulder, this does not. All right, so you can see I've taken my bust radius all around. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is to tighten my bust, my upper bust. Okay, so remember my 1 inch, I have the 1 inch up here, 1 inch down. Please take note. So from this 1 inch point, now you can see the point of my 1 inch. Now I want to on this part, this is where I have my bust radius. Okay, I believe you understand what I'm talking about. So at this point of my bust radius now, I need to also form the cup. Remember, we came down from that point by 0.5. So I'll also come down by 0.5. Then I'm going to connect it back to this line. Okay, so I'll be quickly placing my rule. Remember how we placed it on the other part, just to connect. Okay, you need to connect it to this point. Can you see that? We see the sweetheart neckline is already formed there. So once I've connected it at that point, then I'm going to also blend it. Okay, this time I'm going to blend it. I'm not coming down like I did there, because I said this part looks like a tube. Okay, attaching a sleeve to it, but on this part it has a shoulder, so I'll just quickly blend it into the shoulder. Okay, or better still, I can even use a straight line, okay, instead of blending it into the shoulder, but it all depends on your style or your design. Okay, so let me just blend it in here into the armhole. Sorry, I mean armhole, not shoulder. Okay, so I'm blending it right into my armhole right now, because it's going to have, let me say, like a little yoke. Okay, so can you see what I have at this part? So now, like I said, it has a shoulder, meaning that you are going to have like a yoke, or you use your fabric or whatever to attach. So right from the shoulder, please pay attention to this part. Right from this shoulder now, I want to go in by 2 inches. Can you see that? This is my mark of 2 inches. So at these 2 inches, I'll quickly form my desired neckline that will come right to this point. Okay, so I'm forming my desired neckline. Okay, or let me just come out, let me make it 1 point, because I don't want it to go in so much. I just want a little shoulder there. Okay, so I might just connect. Okay, let me just connect back to this line that is touching the cup line. Okay, and I'll quickly connect it this way. Can you see? So what does that mean? You can see, please don't be confused with this other line. I could have used a different marker, but I believe you understand what I mean. So this is the little yoke. Okay, this is the little yoke that you are going to have. Then I'm going to, attach my full sleeve. This is a full sleeve. So don't worry, when we cut it, you are going to understand how it is, because there are so many lines in here. So right now I'm going to also tighten this, but remember, it has not been tightened before we jumped into the yoke. So right now, from the point of this part, this particular, we came down by 0.5. So I'm going to come this way, the same way, 3/4, 3/4. I need to make it needs to be equal. So I'm going to connect it to the 1 inch with my straight part of my pattern master, and you can see what I have in here. So remember that this center front part is usually longer by 1/4 of an inch. So I came up with 1/4 of an inch. So I need to take the measurement of that 1/4. Okay, so right now I'm going to quickly blend it. I'm blending it right in here. Can you see? So I'll just place it this way like I did before. Remember, this was how we placed it. So I'll just quickly raise it up. Can you see? So as I have raised it, I connected to that part. So that also means that this part of the dart, they are all going off. This part of the dart is not part of what we are doing in this tutorial. So people, the next thing we want to do right now, we want to start imputing, just as we did over here. I'm going to come to the waistline first, and I'll take my waistline 7 3/4, and I'll add 1.5 to it. Come to the under bust 7 3/4, I'll add 2 inches to it for my dart. Then coming to the center front by the chest line 9 inches, I'll add 1.5 dart replacement to it. So now I'll keep my ruler in this manner. Okay, so I'm keeping my ruler in this manner right now. Can you see that? All right, so you can see what we have for this asymmetric right now. So can you see what we have, people? Looking so beautiful. I'm loving this pattern so much. Okay, so can you see what we have right now? So this is the part of the shoulder, and at this part of the shoulder we are going to attach something to it. Okay, it has like some pleats attached from the shoulder, falling all over. It's falling all over here. So you are going to see how we are going to do that. So before we do that, I'm going to cut off this pattern right now, because I really need you to look at this pattern very well to see how this pattern is going to come out when worn in the body. All right, beautiful people, I just want you to see exactly what we have. Can you see? This is how it's going to look like. I purposely left the darts. I know I'm going to cut off the darts, okay, but I just want you to see, to have a clearer picture of how this is going to look. So I'm going to right now fall into the attachment I want to attach on this part of the yoke. Okay, so like I said, this yoke, okay, will be cut, and the yoke will be kept separately. You can use your fabric, the same fabric, to attach the yoke, whatever thing you want to attach. But let me quickly make the pleating that is going to fall from this shoulder on this part of the side. Then we'll now cut off that. All right, so people, for the pleating I want to make on this neckline, like I told you, I want to make a pleating with part of this fabric. So for me to do that, I am taking, you can see I have a pepper here. I have a different pepper, okay, because I want to show you how I'm going to pleat in this fabric or pepper into this neckline. So I'm making use of the width of 9 inches. 7 inches is my bicep line. That is where I want the pleat to fall, at my bicep, 7 inches. Then you can see that the pleating went over. Okay, the pleating I'm making went above. Okay, it went quite above the neckline. What I mean is, it has an extension. I'm pleating it in here, so I'll come up here by 2 inches. I believe you understand. Okay, it will fall on, and I'll stitch in between it. So the 2 inches plus the fall from this part, I need it to fall at 7 inches. Okay, all right, so I'm also going to include the distance of this particular part of the bodies. Okay, so it's going to fall this way, 2 inches coming this way, or 1.5. Let me make it 1.5. I don't want it to go too much into the neckline. 1.5. Then I have at this part 2 inches, then plus the fall. Okay, 7 inches. So 7 plus 2 inches is 9 inches, plus the 1.5. So I have altogether 10.5 inches. Okay, so the width of this my pepper, I'm using 10.5 inches of width. Then I'm going to place this pleating right from the center front to the shoulder line. Can you see? So you can see I have 10.5 as well. Okay, so but this 10.5 that is running on this angle, I'm going to times it by 2.5. okay, a double and a half. Okay, so the length I have here, which is 10.5, I'll be timesing it by 2.5 because of the pleatings. I need to, you know, give room for the pleatings, because if I place exactly 10.5, there won't be any pleats. But the 2.5 additional 1.5 to it, that is 2.5. You can see how big my pepper, because I have 10.5 times 2.5 as 26.25. So that is why you see my pepper is as long as this. So the length is 26.25, while the width is 10.5 from our little calculation we just made on the fold. So right now I'm going to pleat this in. Okay, so you are going to pleat it the way you like. Okay, that is after adding your seam allowances. For example, you are going to add your seam allowances. Then you are going to pleat. I'm pleating in one direction. Can you see what I'm doing right now? The pleatings are just coming out very nicely. Because these pleatings, I'm pleating to get the same 10.5. Please take note. Alright people, so you can see I've pleated my pepper. Okay, so if this is a fabric, you see the fall. Okay, so but I'm just demonstrating to you. Remember, let me take away this pattern. You can see the shoulder part of this pattern. So I placed my pleating. That is my design. Okay, so I'll just be pleating on the, like I said, it's going to be 2 inch away. 2 inch away. Sorry, 1.5 inches away. Okay, please, 1.5. That was what we calculated. It's going to be 1.5 inches. That's coming into the neckline. So you just maintain the 1.5, after which you stitch, because this is going to be placed on top. Okay, it's not stitched in. Remember, we have 2 inches coming up to it. So after making your pleats on your fabric this way, then you bring it over here. Okay, then it's going to be the last thing you are going to place after inserting your sleeve. So right now, I believe you understand what I just illustrated. So the next thing we want to do now is to draft our basic sleeve. Okay, so the basic sleeve, you are familiar with your basic sleeve. If you don't know how to draft a basic sleeve, I'm going to drop the link on the description box below. So you are going to draft your basic sleeve and attach fully on this part. Then coming over to this part, okay, you are also going to draft your basic sleeve. Okay, I'm really being tempted. Okay, let me get a basic sleeve and show you how you are going to attach on this part. Alright people, so this is I'm using this as my basic sleeve right now. This is the armhole part. That is, you know how we draft our basic sleeve. Like I said, I'll be dropping both the long sleeve, basic sleeve. I'm going to drop all of them on the description box below. So this is the front part of my basic sleeve. This is the front. I'll be writing front here. So all I'm going to do right now, okay, if you look at this sleeve right now, I need to fix this sleeve. Wow, don't mind this part. Okay, just look at what I'm trying to illustrate. Okay, so you can see this is how this sleeve. By right, we are supposed to fix this sleeve from the shoulder. Let me use this part to show you. Okay, by right, when you are fixing this sleeve, for the part that has the shoulder, it will go this way and come out this way. Can you see? But on this part right now, this is what we have here. So this is the part of the armhole part. Okay, and remember we came up by a 0.5. So right now I'm going to cut off. Okay, I'm going to cut off from, so what I'm going to do right now is to come down. I'm going to come down by 0.5, and I'm going to go up a little bit. Okay, assuming this is the line, I take this as my cap sleeve line, and this is the half cap sleeve. Okay, turning it this way. So I'm going to quickly place my ruler in this manner. I'm placing it this way. Okay, so just find a good or a better way to, okay, so I just need something. Okay, let me just freehand it. Okay, so this is what I would do, something like this. Then I'm going to cut off this part. Okay, remember we came down by 0.5. That's why on the basic bodies. All right, so this is exactly what you are going to do, and is the sleeve that is going to be attached on this part. So all you need to do, you can see I'm pretending I'm attaching the sleeve right now. So can you see how that sleeve is? Okay, I believe you understand what I actually did at this point. So this sleeve right now, after joining your bodies, you are going to join just a little part of this sleeve. Okay, a little part of this sleeve will be attached. Okay, it's going to be attached, okay, in this manner. I believe it's clearer right now. Okay, it's clearer right now. So this is what you are going to have. Okay, don't mind the roughness of this paper. Okay, it's just for demonstration purpose. So can you see? So assuming you've added your seam allowance here of 1 inch, you added, so all you need to do is to bring it together, okay, and attach. Okay, you just run, and once you come here, you stitch together. I believe you understand what I just demonstrated. So this is how that sleeve you are seeing is looking. All right, so this is for this part of sleeve. But for this part of the sleeve, you see it's a full shoulder. You are going to attach your full sleeve to it. Okay, then after sewing all together, you now bring your pleated above the 1.5. You can see that's how it's going to look like. All right, people, so before we continue, we are actually forgetting something very important. Remember when I took my vertical measurements when we started this tutorial, I placed my tape, my half length was 16 inches. But this time, the back length, that is the measurement from the shoulder to the waist for the back, I have 14.5 inches. What does that mean? That means 16 take away 14.5 is 1.5 inches. So that is what I have for the bust dart intake. So I'm going to close up my dart right now before ever we continue. This is very important. Okay, I almost forgot closing the bust dart. Okay, so I'm going to just apply a little adhesive to the sides of this asymmetric. Okay, so I'll be placing to close up the darts. I believe you understand what I'm doing right here. Okay, we are talking about closing up our dart right now. So I'll also do the same, which we always do. Although I've cut out the darts, okay, but it doesn't affect anything, people. So I have just added my pepper. So why did I add this pepper? Because I want to close up my bust dart. So quickly, I'm going to take 1.5. Okay, let me shift a little bit my pepper for you to see. This is the yoke, remember? So I'll be placing my tape on the bust point. Remember, this is the bust point, okay? And this is under bust. So from the bust point line, I'll be taking the 1.5, that intake right now, and I'll share it into 2. That is 0.75. So I'm going to place right to the bust point, okay? This is the bust point. So I'm going to place my ruler this way as we usually do, okay? Then coming over to the center part, I'm going to bring it out a little by 0.75. So I will now close up my bust dart. I'll take that all the way to the chest line. You know how we usually do that. Okay, so this is my bust dart for this part, and I'll quickly do the same for the other part of the side that has the tube. Okay, I've done that to the yoke part. So I'll also come again from the bust point. Remember, the dart intake is 1.5 this time. You share into 2, that's 0.75. Then I'm going to connect the 1.5 to the bust point, and I'll also do that for the half of it. Then come out a little bit and connect. I'll do the same to the chest line. So right now, this is the part of the tube, and this is the part of the shoulder bodies. So I'm going to just quickly cut it off. Please, this is very important. Remember, we didn't do that, we almost forgot. So I'm just doing it right now before I forget. All right, so you can see the bust dart right now for the right hand side, and I also cut out for the left hand side. Okay, so I'm taking away the excess paper. So you can see our bust dart is there, but it's not yet closed. Okay, so now we are going to close it. We just cut out the accommodation for the bust dart. So right now I'm going to close up my bust dart the usual way we do that. Okay, so I'll quickly apply and close it up. So you can see right now I've closed it up. You can see what I'm having right now. Okay, you can see it's having a better shape right now. Okay, a better tightening. Okay, so I will do that the same. I'll do the same thing to this. Okay, so you can see that there's a huge difference right now when you close up your bust dart. Okay, all right, so people, that is what you have right now. Let me face it this way so that you can see. All right, you can see it's having a better shape right now. So you still have your yoke where it's attached. So right now, this is how we come to the end of the front bodies for this asymmetric. But I will be showing you how you will be shaping your back to fit in exactly to what you have in the front. So keep on watching.